Public meeting called to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Gann.
Here.
Councilman McBride.
Here.
Councilman Harrell. Councilman Stamey. Councilman Hatmaker.
Here.
Councilman Fair.
Here.
Mayor Burton.
Here. The public hearing this evening is on ordinance number 651. This is for the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget amendment. Anybody would like to have a comment on that? With no comments, public hearing is adjourned. Regular agenda, call to order, please.
Councilman Gann.
Here.
Councilman McBride.
Here.
Councilman Harrell. Councilman Stamey. Councilman Hatmaker.
Here.
Councilman Fair.
Here.
Mayor Burton.
Here. Do I hear a motion of the approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The prayer this evening will be given by Vice Mayor Farah. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to do business for this city, let us be reminded of the love that you gave us in Christ. Also, Lord, as we live through these uncertain times, let us be comforted by thy will for us in our lives. Also, let us know that we are not in this alone. We have you and we have each other. And let us not lose our humanity nor our compassion towards one another as we go through this difficult time in our country. Also offer prayers for our country, our state, our county, all local officials, that we do what's best for our people and what's right in your eyes. All this I ask in Jesus Christ's holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Zach. Do you hear a motion for the review and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting dated June 29th, 2010? Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. At this time, any recognition of visitors or citizens? Kind of low, a little lean tonight. Communications from the mayor. Roger, do I have anything? I think we can talk about that before the meeting. A lot of stuff going on, but, yeah. Community reports, city school board report. Ms. Johnson?
Good evening. The biggest thing that I have on my report tonight is just that we're opening school. Teachers come back to school on Monday. Kids are coming back to school on Friday, so we're doing a staggered start. We're going to bring in for the first 3 days 2 grade levels a day, just so that we can kind of orient them to our new social distancing and do some hand washing lessons and some different things of that nature. But we'll bring in 1st and 6th grade on Friday. We're bringing 2nd and 5th in on Monday, and then we'll bring 3rd and 4th in on Tuesday, and then everybody's going to come back on Wednesday. So we have offered a virtual online program for some of our parents who just didn't deem that the timing was right for them to come back. We're seeing across the state anywhere, they're averaging between 15 to 20% of their kids are choosing online right now, with 80% coming back brick and mortar. We are hovering right now around more of a 90-10 split. So about 90% of our kids are choosing to come back with 10% virtual. So that's where we stand at this point. But we're just excited to get teachers back on Monday, kids back on Friday, and hopefully we've worked closely with the health department, with state, watching CDC guidance, and we've got a pretty robust reopening plan with lots of supports and safeguards put into place. So we look forward to opening up the doors. So any questions from anybody?
Any questions for Kelly? Kelly, I guess, in a way, I don't know how to say this the right way. I've already put my foot in my mouth one time tonight. Yeah, it's just a gym. So, I mean, would you not think, I mean, I know Knox County was 25%. That probably seemed like a pretty good number for, to make sure that there's that separation, the distancing and stuff. Is that going to be more of a challenge with just 10% electing to stay at home?
You know, I don't
Was there a
think.
desired number, I guess?
Well, the desired number is we would like 100% of our
Yeah.
kids to be back, because honestly, we can create a robust virtual program. Virtual's never going to replace what happens inside the classroom. And we've been very candid with our parents about that. I feel like we've got a great program, but it's never going to be as good as what a teacher-student connection and interaction can happen in the classroom. So, I mean, I want 100% of them back, but I certainly understand that, you know, due to family needs and family circumstances, everybody can't come back at this time, so we want to be respectful of that and give them as quality a program as we can. You know, as far as social distancing goes, I mean, there's lots and lots of good research out there that is showing that kids are not huge transmitters from students to teachers, so that's positive. But our classrooms just aren't set up to do 6 feet desks, you know, apart. We just don't have that much space, but we're spacing them as much as we can and putting other safeguards into place with, they're gonna be all day with their partner classes. And so we've created a very complex schedule to where it'll have a homeroom class and the homeroom class will have a partner class. So at no time during the day will those kids be outside of their homeroom class or one other specified class. They'll eat with that class, go outside with that class. That way, if we have a positive case, we can easily contact trace those high-risk exposures to the homeroom class and the partner class.
Do you want to give us an update on the expansion?
I will. The expansion is going great. We are on schedule for August the 7th or 8th, Scott? So August the 7th, the actual first day that students are in the building, is when they are supposed to be complete. But as far as right now, we are good to go on schedule. We've already got plans for how we're going to use that. The intervention rooms, of course, will be utilized immediately. But we actually are utilizing some of those empty classrooms, like our guidance room right now is a very small room, and we are not capable of social distancing in that class. So we're going to temporarily move guidance into one of those larger classrooms where kids can socially distance. And right now, our technology lab is a very, very small room, and we're not able to social distance in that. So we will temporarily move that to one of the new classrooms too. So the timing of that has come at a great time.
So you're saying when they complete it on the 7th, are those rooms going to be available for use on that day when they
They should. We
complete?
will not be able to, the first day of school, no, they will not be open. We will have to wait until the following week to get occupancy.
Okay.
But yes, the
And-
first
and I
full
had
week
one
of
more
school.
question too.
Uh-huh.
I haven't talked to too many people today, so I'm really talkative, I guess. But the back way, is there a plan as far as the letting out? I'm sure there is, but can you kind of review the letting out the kids and picking them up? Because is the road going to be done?
The road will be
completed?
done.
Okay, because
Yes.
they were working on it today.
We've been told the road will be done.
Okay, 'cause it's
but
still dirt today. I was-
Basically, all that it's going to do is it just moved over 30
Okay.
feet.
Okay.
So it will still be 2 lanes coming in. The bottom parking lot's going to look a little bit differently, because when you pull into the parking lot, you're not going to be able to just drive right into those parking spaces. It'll have almost like a little retaining wall and an entrance into there. But we actually, the way that we designed that, we lost 30 feet. We moved our driveway over 30 feet, but we gained 11 parking spots in the lower parking lot down there. And so the traffic flow will run the same. The only big change that parents at Clinton Elementary will see is that we're going to do kindergarten through 2nd grade dismissing in the back and 3rd through 6th in the front, just because we're going to be dismissing from homeroom classes, and so it's going to take a little bit longer, and we wanted to keep traffic from backing up onto the main road, so we've added another grade level to the back. So dismissal for K through 2 will be in the back, and 3 through 6 will be in the front.
Okay.
But other than that, our traffic flow should flow the same.
Good. Any other questions? I don't have any. Thanks, Kelly.
Okay,
Good luck.
thanks.
Scott, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Clinton Regional Planning Commission report, Councilman Gann.
The Regional Planning Commission Board of Zoning Appeals met on Monday, July 13th. The Board of Zoning Appeals applicant Floyd Ray Raby requesting rear setback variance to 8 feet for property located at 202 Beechwood Lane. In this particular case, he has an existing 12 by 18-foot deck on the back of his house, which is a pre-existing non-conforming deck. And what he wanted to do was to put a cover over the existing deck, and since there would be no further encroachment, BZA voted to approve that. Then the Regional Planning Commission also met on the same night. Applicant Ken White requesting preliminary PUD plat plan review for property located at Leinert Street Number of issues with this that codes and everybody's going to have to deal with: the grade of the place, visibility, fire, water, sewer, a number of things. Those are going to have to be addressed. We did give preliminary plat approval, subject to the issues being dealt with adequately before the submittal of the final plat. If those aren't dealt with, then probably not receive final plat approval. But at least this gives him an opportunity to begin the situation. Wade Lovin, MBI, requesting final plat review for property on Central Street. This dealt with a right-of-way, final plat approval, right-of-way documentation, and we approved this subject to the documentation for the right-of-way being submitted. You may remember this is the street that we not long ago gave a quick claim to. And there was a question about, do the neighbors have it? And so he needed to get documentation. The neighbors had no interest in it before they began to put it in the street. Applicant Hicks Group requesting final PUD plan approval for property located at Frank Price Boulevard. This is one that's been back and forth. I think Roger probably will kick it back to us. Here's what we had. Staff stated the overall design and lot configuration has not changed from the previous approval, which we gave them. The only change is to note the access streets to the units to change from private to public. These streets are proposed to be public city streets. Staff stated that there have been some indications by a city representative that the city was not willing to accept these as city streets, and staff recommended that the streets remain private as originally submitted if the city was not willing to accept the streets. We had nobody to give us any indication or fill in on this. They have already been approved as private streets, so nothing's going to change other than the fact that they would be changing to public streets if this is worked out.
But there was some question on the design of the streets, which this is a PUD, so under the PUD, and we met with the Hicks and worked it out. We think it's a comparable solution. Originally, the streets were only going to be 20 feet wide, which is 6 feet below the norm, but they've agreed to widen them to 24 feet. And under the PUD, Planning Commission can grant a variance under the PUD, which is not an uncommon practice. So I think we've worked out a good solution to it. But it has to go back for Planning Commission for approval. And my understanding, they did resubmit the plans today to do that.
So it'll be bouncing back to us, I guess.
And then it'll come back to, we'll go to 911 next, then it'll come back to the city to accept the streets with the names. Probably down the road a little bit for that.
And then Hicks Group requesting site plan review for MAG USA addition located at Matthew Warren Drive. Voted to approve the final plat as presented, subject to acceptance of the street by the city. And then also spent a good deal of time looking at agricultural overlay district draft. A lot of discussion, I can tell you, a lot of discussion on the size of this, whether we were 2 acres, 3 acres, the 1,000 feet buffer zone. So there's a number of things, and Joe is still working on that. We've not made any decisions yet, but we are working on it. And then also there has been some discussion about non-residential accessory structures, basically these storage containers that some are popping up.
You talking about the pods
No, ones that people are living in.
on their property?
That's where we're afraid it's going. It's already happening in other cities. In addition to that, storage ones also are part of it. They're not pods, they're the storage things that come off the back of trucks and they're selling them for next to nothing. There's already a good number of them in the city.
Are they using them for storage or for
Yes.
residential?
They're using for
Yeah.
storage. And many of them are in business districts. We know of one business that's got 3 of them on their property already. So we're looking at that. We're concerned about what kind of image that presents for the city.
I agree.
So that's our business.
Any questions for Larry?
Just, Mayor, Larry or Mr. Halk, started demolition today of 205 Main. I guess, have you seen any drawings, or is it even time for drawings yet?
I think they submitted today, but I have not
Okay.
looked at them. They submitted
We've
some
not, we've not
plans.
seen anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
today
they
was
were-
deadline for planning commission, so I think they have submitted, but like I said, have not looked at them.
You know, they're tearing out the glass part today.
I bet they're just probably just be demolishing those two front store, those places of business that were there before, I would think, I don't know. Any questions for, any additional questions? Larry, that property on Liner Street, is that, it being, I read that the owners decided to make that road private? I thought I read that. Is there any difference in the, fire protection, police protection if that occurs?
Not from that standpoint,
They would still have those services?
yes,
If
But
can get the
they would
truck-
just be responsible for
truck-
maintaining the road?
yes.
Okay. So, I mean, as you look, Crestwood, is it that much of a deviation, I mean, as far as
It's a-
slope?
well-
It's just a shorter,
Yeah, it's that,
Trip
it's that
travel.
slope behind the houses on Crestwood. It's a pretty steep slope there.
yeah. Okay.
They're hoping, we're on it, in fact, part of the discussion is, I think he's got it at a 12% grade now, and in our codes, 10% is the maximum, and we're not sure he can get it down to 12. I mean, down to 10.
Even if he takes a different, there's a property that on what road is that, right behind the Green McAdoo, back in there? What is it? I think it's Broad. He has an entrance that way too, maybe he can go that route.
He may have to, because we just basically gave him permission to go ahead, but there's a lot of dots, Ts are going to be crossed and Is dotted before we've approved that.
Yeah. Quick story, I was trying to help somebody find a place to live, thinking that in the month, usually things open up. And I talked to I feel like I've talked to all the people that have a lot of the apartments and houses and stuff. You're talking about in trailers, they probably have 400 or 500, and I'm not even counting Joe's places. I understand he's full. But you're talking about 400 or 500 units that people control, they own, and they're all are full. That just tells you how much need we have to have more housing in this area, in Clinton, specifically. But I was really taken back that there's not one available. That's pretty high occupancy rate. So, anyway, as I digress. Larry, thank you. Clinton Utilities Board report.
CUB met on the 9th of July, and the financials are in your packet. Just overall, all is well. I did want to mention that the forbearance, the utility bill forbearance ended in June. The amount of the write-offs for this past year was very low, and I think that's a testament to the character of our citizens. I mean, people want to pay, and when we set up the paywall, Jim, you know what I'm talking about, it's really cut back on the outstanding bills that we have. So if any questions, I'm happy to answer. That's my report.
Any questions for Vice Mayor? So I really haven't looked at the numbers as far as usage. Is everything still looking pretty good? We getting the same usage from the plants?
That's in range, but I think water and sewer's been a struggle. But, it's been hot the month of July,
Yeah.
so I think we'll probably see things, yeah. It ebbs and flows really with the weather. We had a pretty temperament, we had a pretty nice mild spring, and we had a mild winter. And when you have mild winters and nice springs, people aren't, it's not good for the electric business. But overall, it's in range, it's in budget, so, again, all's well.
Good. Thank you. General Government Report, Mr. Houck.
Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, let me jump in before we go too much further. Just, I guess in the way of Green McAdoo, just a thought, as many of you've noticed, a lot of news about the passing of Representative John Lewis. And I would remind everybody about the very instrumental role he played in getting funding for Green McAdoo to start. He was a tremendous help in getting Green McAdoo off the ground. And I had the opportunity, just ran into it. The video of the dedication ceremony is on YouTube from those years ago. You can look at Green McAdoo, John Lewis, and it's on there. And I'd forgotten what a dynamic speech he had. But one of the things that caught my attention was that near the end of his speech, he said, "This city is a beloved community." And you're going to hear that term a lot, I think, in connection with his funeral services, that he sought to make this country a beloved community. And he felt like Clinton was a beloved community. And I think, you know, if you get a chance, look at the video. But I was very happy that he felt our city was deserving of such credit.
Thank you, Lynn. Roger?
Just an update on our facilities, pretty much we're at a status quo. We're still under the governor's order, Executive Order 38 and 50, which runs out through August 29th. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, the new executive order, whether we can open splash pads, playgrounds, and do whatever. But right now, pretty much status quo. Project and activities. Due to the uncertainty of our various revenues during the FY 2021 budget preparation process, we did not prepare a capital outlay plan to be included in the budget package. We now feel like we have a better picture of our estimated revenues and fund balance. Based on this, we have prepared an updated 3-year capital outlay plan for approval. We will not make any purchases unless funds are available, and all purchases will follow our established purchasing guidelines.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. Finance, I'll defer to Gail.
You've got your report in front of you. The revenues, we've actually done very good. Our sales tax was really good this month. When you're looking at comparison to FY19, keep in mind that those FY19 numbers are final numbers. June's are still fluctuating. We still have another month of state shared revenue as well as sales tax to come in. So when you see the variance there, that's normal. Property tax did very well this year. We collected over $95,000 above what we had originally budgeted, which was a little over 98% collection rate of our aggregate, which is really good. Sales tax, the city this month was up a little over 4.5%. Countywide was up a little over 8.5%. So our sales tax numbers are still looking good. We've not seen a lot of variance, so we hope that remains so. So far we're looking good on that.
Any questions for Gail? Thanks, Gail.
One thing we did mention, I have to ask y'all to help me with it, we did get a new certified rate last week. 86.46. 86.46. There was a little discrepancy in the first one, so the property assessor sent that over, so 86.46. Probably next month we'll be ready to vote on that and set that as our new tax rate. So actually down from 94, but revenue will remain the same. Thank you, Gail. During the site preparation and construction of the new tractor supply, several areas of Fox Family Lane have been deteriorated and broken up due to the point where there is now a significant safety issue. The subgrade of Fox Family Lane apparently held moisture and would not withstand the constant loading from construction traffic. We are soliciting requests for proposals for work in order to meet the purchasing guidelines. Based on the urgency to complete this repairs in a timely manner, we therefore request approval for an appropriation not to exceed $80,000 for the repairs to Fox Family Lane.
Your motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roger, on this issue, just look forward thinking, as that continues to be developed, there's a possible issue that's going to happen again. Is there any steps we've taken to address that on the front end versus on the back end?
Yes. I've spoken to Ronnie Fox a couple of times about it, and they're looking at possibly, if they sell some of the other property, making them put a gravel road on the backside and not using that area and using the gravel road.
Okay.
And Tractor Supply, the most significant damage was actually in front of Tractor Supply, and they actually themselves repaired probably a 60-foot section, so they have helped with it.
Okay, good. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Any questions for Roger? Thanks, Roger. Under ordinances and resolutions, second and final reading of ordinance number 651. That's the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget amendment. Hear a motion for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman McBride?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell? Councilman Stamey?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilman Fair?
Yes.
And Mayor Burton.
Yes, ordinance number 651 passes on second and final reading. Under resolutions, resolution number 798, this is the Public Entity Partners, Safety Partners Matching Grant. Hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roger, you'd like to just give highlights on this?
It's just an annual grant that Public Entity Partners gives out. That's our insurance carrier, and it's a matching 50-50. Usually a very small grants, around $10,000, 5 coming from them, 5 from us. But we've been able to buy several pieces of equipment for the both police, fire, public works, and parks and recs, which has to be safety equipment, anything from vests to cones, the new cones we used during the Christmas parade. So a lot of small items, but it's a good little grant.
Good, good. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number 798 passes. Any old business before us? Any new business? Motion to adjourn? Meeting adjourned. You feeling all right? Someone's a little rash, like-
Yeah.